Hey guys, I'm Saga from TechWorks and this is my full review of the OnePlus 3. This is the fourth smartphone from OnePlus, but for the first time, you can just head over to Amazon's website and click the Buy Now button without having to go through their annoying invite system. The design of the OnePlus 3 actually resembles some of HTC's flagship devices. OnePlus chose to go with an all-metal back for their third flagship smartphone and made it a lot thinner and lighter than the OnePlus 2. This decision makes the camera stick out of the back quite a lot and more importantly reduces the battery capacity on this phone. While the metal back looks and feels amazing, it has a tendency to slip out of your hand. Putting a skin on it like the one I have from D brand might help a bit, but if you want more protection than a skin and a lot of grip on your phone, you can always go with the official OnePlus sandstone case, which by the way also covers the camera bump. At the front, we have a 5.5-inch 1080p Optic AMOLED screen covered by Gorilla Glass 4. While many people are disappointed with the 1080p screen, I personally don't mind it. The 1080p panel has a sufficiently high pixel density, and you won't notice the individual pixels unless you are holding the phone very close to your face or specifically looking for them. Not having a 2K display also means that the battery will last a bit longer, as the processor doesn't have to push around as many pixels. The colors are vibrant and pop out of this AMOLED screen. Blacks are deep and viewing angles are sufficiently wide as well. Thanks to the latest software update, you can now enable the sRGB mode, which shows less vibrant but more accurate colors. You have the option to choose the color temperature of the display according to your liking. And you also have the night mode, which reduces the amount of blue light in the display. Below the screen, we have the always-on fingerprint sensor, which is also a capacitive home button. This is one of the fastest and most accurate fingerprint sensor I came across this year. The alert slider makes its way to this phone, which is one of my most favorite features offered by OnePlus. It is so convenient to change the profile of your phone with just a slide of a switch. The volume and power button on the OnePlus 3 are extremely well built. There is no rattling or play of any sort, and you get a very satisfying click while pressing them. The earpiece above the screen is really good and gets loud enough during cellular calls. The single speaker at the bottom is however a bit disappointing. First of all, it's a bottom firing speaker and not a front firing one. And it also gets a bit teeny format taste at higher volumes. The USB-C port at the bottom is only for charging, and while transferring data, you only get USB 2 speeds. Now inside, this phone packs in a Snapdragon 820 processor, Adreno 530 GPU, and a massive 6GB of RAM. That is actually 2GB more than what I had in my laptop when I started this channel. It comes with 64GB of built-in storage with no microSD card expansion slot. You get a bit over 53GB of available storage. And if that is not enough for you, then you also have the option to connect a USB OTG drive to transfer your data on the go. The 6GB of RAM was one of the most talked feature about this phone at the launch. It got even more buzz when OnePlus did not allow users to take full advantage of it in order to preserve the battery life. But with the recent software update, OnePlus finally allowed the users to take a better advantage of the massive RAM this device packs in. It is not a surprise that this phone manages to score very high on the benchmark scores, and the overall day-to-day performance is also extremely smooth. With all these internals, you are more than likely to try out a lot of heavy games on it. But no matter what you throw at it, the OnePlus 3 handles it like a champ. Playing high-intensity games for about 30 minutes makes this phone a bit warm, but there is nothing to worry about. The massive RAM makes multitasking so much easier on this phone. More number of apps are kept open in the background, so you can jump right back to the point where you left, without having to reload the app. You also get all the usual connectivity options, like 802.11ac Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.2 and GPS. NFC finally makes a comeback to this device after being left out of the OnePlus 2. This phone is running the latest version of Oxygen OS, which is built on top of Android Marshmallow 6.0.1. Oxygen OS is simple and it borrows most of its look from the stock Android, which is a good thing for me as I like to keep things simple and clutter-free. Android operating system by itself is very customizable, but Oxygen OS takes the customization game to the next level. For starters, you have a lot of gestures like double tap to wake the screen, draw a V on the sleeping screen to turn the flash on, circle to open the camera, and a few more gestures to control various music playback options. You have the option to choose between the on-screen buttons or off-screen capacitive buttons. I prefer to use the off-screen capacitive buttons as it gives me a little more screen real estate to play with. You can swap these buttons and even assign them to perform various tasks on double pressing or long pressing them. One of my favorite customization option is the dark mode. it completely changes the color of the user interface. Now because we are using an AMOLED display, using the dark mode also helps to prolong the battery life of your phone. If for some reason you don't like the look and feel of this operating system, then you can always install a launcher of your choice and tweak it according to your liking. Coming to the camera, we have a 16 megapixel rear facing sensor with f2.2 aperture, face detect autofocus system, optical image stabilization and a single LED flash. While at the front, we have an 8 megapixel sensor with f2.2 aperture, which takes great looking images. The rear camera sticks out quite a bit, to a point where the phone rattles if you try to use it while being placed on any surface. I am not bothered by the camera hump, but I am a bit worried about the chrome around the camera hump being scratched over time. You can take pretty amazing images with this camera in ample lighting conditions. You also have the manual mode and the raw image support. So if you have a little time to tweak the manual settings, you can end up with a really good looking image. Since there is no laser autofocus system, you might face a slight difficulty while taking macro or close-up shots, but that is not a deal breaker in any way. This camera shoots 4K video at 30 frames per second and 720p slow motion videos at 120 frames per second. The videos shot with this phone are not the best I have seen, but it still gets the job done. I have a separate video about the camera performance of the OnePlus 3. I will leave a card to that video on the screen and also a link to it in the description section. Definitely check it out if you want to take a look at a lot of image and video samples from the OnePlus 3. This camera is not better than the Galaxy S7 or the iPhone 6s, but it definitely falls close to that category. 8 times out of 10, the images from this phone will turn out just the way you wanted. You get a 3000 mAh battery inside this phone. Like most people, I wouldn't have mind if the phone was as thick as the camera hump and packed in more battery inside the extra space. For about 2 weeks, I used this phone with a single SIM card and the battery life I got was amazing. I generally ended my day with about 4.5 hours of screen on time, or sometimes even higher. The battery took a serious hit when I used it with 2 SIM cards and had LTE turned on most of the time. In this case, the battery barely made it till the evening when I had to charge the phone again. I am now using this phone with the same 2 SIM cards, but instead of being on LTE, I am connected to a Wi-Fi network most of the day. And again I am getting a battery life with a bit over 4 hours of screen on time. When it is time to charge this phone, the included dash charger gets it from 0 to 60% in just 30 minutes. And it roughly takes under 75 minutes to get it to a full 100%. And all of this while keeping the phone running cool. OnePlus managed to achieve this by letting the dash charger handle all the power management instead of the phone. I have used a lot of Qualcomm quick chargers on many devices, but none of those come even close to the charging speeds of this dash charger. I did not like the OnePlus 2 which was launched last year. It lacked in many key areas, was bulky and heavy, and the overall experience of using it was not very good. But this year, the experience is completely different. The OnePlus 3 is clearly one of the best performing Android devices I have used so far. The design is not completely new or different from most of the smartphones out there, but it still looks, feels and performs like a premium device. Very rarely we get a smartphone that doesn't really lack in any department and still manages to keep its price way lower than the flagship devices from big manufacturers. OnePlus 3 is definitely one of them. It performs just as well, or in some cases even better than the flagship devices, which cost twice as much. It is the best smartphone you can get in under 30,000 rupees right now. So there you have it. This has been my review of the OnePlus 3 after using it for a complete month. Let me know your thoughts about this device in the comment section. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and also subscribe to the channel for more quality tech videos like this. You can also check out some of the other videos on this channel. This is Sagar, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.